Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar, Potable Water Valves Certified, Safe, and Maintenance Free, which is going to be presented by Russ Brown. We really appreciate you joining us today. My name is Ron Pilkwitz and I will be your moderator. Because we know you may want to watch this again or recommend it to others, it will be recorded and posted on Belimo's YouTube site. And we will have a question and answer session at the end of this presentation, and Russ would like to hear back from you. I invite you at any time to type your questions into the question box and I will read them aloud during the question and answer session. Russ will answer as many questions as we have time for. If he does not get to your question, please rest assured he will answer you via email afterwards. If you are having any difficulties, simply type me a note in the chat box and I will try to assist you. And I will now turn the presentation over to Russ. Thank you, Russ.
Thanks, Ron. Welcome everybody, and thanks for attending the webinar today. I'm Russ Brown, PM for ball valves, and I'm responsible for all pressure-dependent ball valve solutions for Belimo Americas. Without further ado, let's get started. By the end of this presentation, you'll have a keen understanding of NSF ANSI 61 guidelines, Belimo's offering to support potable water requirements, and 2021 ICC Plumbing Code changes that will force a lot of changes in HVAC design and selection. In this presentation, we'll discuss in detail NSF 61 safety guidelines, review Belimo's potable water valve product range, dive into details on valve specifications, which will touch on operating capacities and what really makes these valves ideal for domestic potable water applications. We'll discuss features and benefits, applications, 2021 ICC Plumbing Code changes, and last but not least, availability. What is NSF ANSI 61 and what does it mean to me? Well, what is NSF? A good question and an important one for producers of drinking water components. This particular standard establishes minimum health requirements requirements for chemical contaminants and impurities that are indirectly imparted to drinking water from products, components, and materials used for drinking water systems. Putting it more simply, the standard certifies that chemicals and materials used in producing drinking water are safe and will not produce negative health effects. It ensures that components of process will not add contaminants that will cause health or regulation problems. So if you are like Belimo and you manufacture, sell, or distribute water treatment and distribution products in North America, your products are required to comply with NSF 61 drinking water system components. So what are the requirements of the NSF 61 standard and lead? Well, there's two. NSF standard 61 contains requirements that restrict both the level of lead that can be contained in water contact materials of drinking water products, and it controls the level of lead that can extract out of the product into drinking water. The method for determining this lead-free percentage and mandate has known to become NSF 372. So what are the products that are affected? While valves fall under both sections 8, which is mechanical devices, and sections 9, which are mechanical plumbing devices of the NSF 61 guideline, all drinking system components are affected. This includes components as minute as adhesives and gaskets to larger components such as pumps, meters, and hoses. Now, to support the demand for electronically actuated potable water valves, here's the high-level view of Belimo's offering. The range begins with half-inch ball valves and ends with 6-inch butterfly valves. The ball valves range from half-inch to 1-inch with CVs of 32 to 81. Assembly actuators in both fail and non-fail safe are acceptable. and with both NPT and press fit end fittings. The butterfly valves start at 2-inch and end at 6, with a wide range of CVs from 44 to 1579, and are available in standard ANSI 125, 150 flange. At this time, only two-way valves are available. A little more detail regarding the valve assembly combinations and individual sizes. The half-inch ball valves will be operated by our highly successful zone-tight CQ actuators. This direct connect toolless integrated valve assembly is not only compact, but it also breezes to assemble with its snap-in design feature. It's available in both non-fail and electronic fail-safe. The 3/4-inch and 1-inch ball valves with ISO mounting pad are offered with our LR and LF actuators to cover both non-fail and fail-safe applications. Lastly, these potable water valves are bidirectional for error-proof installation. Our potable water butterfly valves with the ANSI 150, 125 flange connection have a range of CV from 44 to 1579. They have many options for actuation, including non-fail, spring return fail-safe, and electronic fail-safe, as well as NEMA 4 options. From a valve specification perspective, the potable water ball valves are full port bidirectional valves, and upon completion of the offering, we'll have both female MPT and press fit connections. They are made with lead-free brass, and all wetted materials are certified to NSF 61. Maximum media temperature is 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and body pressure rating is 600 PSI, with the exception of the press fit connections, which basically derate the valve pressure to 250 PSI. The max operating pressure is 230 PSI. And last but not least, this maintenance-free potable water valve has a 0% leakage rating. The potable water butterfly valves are made from ASTM rated lead-free ductile iron, which meets NSF 61 guidelines. It has an ANSI 125 and 150 flange connection, and it's rated for media temps up to 250 degrees. Body pressure, close off, and operating pressure is 200 PSI. These versatile butterfly valves carry a 0% leakage rating as well. Now, features and benefits. The complete line of potable water valves are certified to CSA, by CSA to the NSF 61 and 372 standard. The valves can be combined with Belimo actuators, sensors, and flow meters, and are a great starting point for domestic water shutoff and leak detection. We have a full range of valves from a half-inch to 6 inches, and no gaps in sizes. They're easy to install because of the bidirectional valves, and the actuators are easy to connect to existing or new BMS systems. They carry a 2-year warranty and are maintenance-free with a 0% leakage rating. Applications. From an application perspective, domestic water applications are most common. Shutoffs, opportunities on water mains, living units, appliances, and fixtures are in the billions. Supply branches usually use 3/4-inch diameter, while individual components and fittings are half-inch for residential, and commercial start at about 3/4-inch. Water main pipes, again, residential 1-inch, but again, that's for residential, and as commercial water mains tend to increase in size. Overall, domestic water is a majority of the applications for these potable water valves. Now, culinary food service and processing is a big opportunity as well. Pipe sizes can vary by application, but commercial appliances require larger size pipe. For example, the 3/4 inch pipe opposed to a residential 1/2 inch pipe for something as simple as a sink. And depending on how large processing equipment is and how aggressive the application is, larger sizes can prevail. Last but not least, farming and grow house water management. These are a niche market, but quickly growing, especially due to the indoor grow houses. With that said, their sizes are similar in demand for domestic water. And all of these applications favor on-off control. (2021) ICC Plumbing Code changes. Now, the old and the new code for 2021 ICC Plumbing Code is specifically tasked towards shutoff valves. In particularly, what happened is in 2018, all these codes for this specific chapter 6, water supply and distribution, have been moved on to the new code of 2021. But in addition to the fixture supply and the SOCOC supply and mechanical equipment and appliance shutoffs, there was a primary addition to the code in 2021 by a building owner that proposed this solution of adding a shutoff to every existing residential unit. So with that said, the old new code, which takes the 2008 code and covers commercial residential fixtures, supply shutoff, as well as commercial sleeping unit occupancies. Well, in addition, this is requirement for main shutoff valves for each tenant space, which makes a big deal. So what does that mean? Well, it's kind of funny that a building owner was responsible for the proposal for these individual shutoffs. For each tenant space, I don't think it was really understood the implications of the whole thing. For instance, when designing a taller building, 4 stories or more, engineers switched the high-rise building design piping vertically rather than horizontally. With this change, more risers are needed. A story with 6 units per floor in the past may have gotten away with 1 or 2 risers, now need possibly 6 because of the combination with the change and the fact that you can't pipe back to back. So each tenant space needs to be piped individually. All in all, this can become very expensive for the building owner. We'll have to wait till 2024 to see if this gets repealed or not. From availability standpoint, finally, as of April 1st, MPT ball valves and butterfly valves were available. There is much work to be done with the press fit versions of the potable water valves, so a firm date for availability has not yet been determined. That concludes the presentation part of the webinar. Thanks so much for attending and learning about Belimo's new line of potable water valves. My name is Russ Brown, product manager for ball valves. And now Ron will open it up to some questions. Ron?
I apologize, I was on mute. Thank you very much, Russ. Before we move on to questions, please remember to follow Belimo on social media to keep up on what's new and exciting within Belimo. If you have any questions, please type them into the question box right now and I will ask them aloud to Russ. If you think of questions after today's presentation, please feel free to email myself at training@us.belimo.com and I'll be sure to get Russ the questions for you. We do have a couple of questions that have come in. The first one is, what control options are available for the potable water valves?
Oh, that's a good question. So I think I mentioned it in the presentation, but primarily all majority, let's say 99% of all domestic potable water applications only call for on-off floating point type of control. So primarily on-off. So we did include floating point to the offering because it does open things up from the application standpoint for food process service and for grow houses.
Okay. When will the ICC Plumbing Code changes take effect?
So the ICC Plumbing Code change is in effect as we speak, as of January 1st. The thing with that is it's going to be very costly for a lot of people, especially new building owners, where they would have to change designs, and as I mentioned, they would add multiple risers just to meet the demands of this shutoff change. Most likely, you'll have certain scenarios where engineers may go away from ICC and go towards Uniform Plumbing Code in various states, obviously to save money. But overall, I mentioned we'll have to wait another, let's say, 3 years for the next release, and it'll probably be repealed once everyone understands how difficult this is going to be on them.
Okay. Can the butterfly valve be used for regular HVAC water too, like glycol?
Yes, it can. It's in the specifications. You can use water up to glycol up to 60%. Just keep in mind pressures and temperatures should all be within the limits.
Okay. This one you may have answered, but I will ask it. Are the Flow Meters Nsf?
Our flow meters, I believe, are actually at this point, I don't believe they're NSF, but I could be wrong. I would have to consult with one of the sensor guys to really get a right answer for you. But I can always get back to the person on that.
Okay. Can you explain a little bit more about what you mean by bidirectional?
It's a bidirectional valve. So depending on if you have the supply coming in one end or the other, it doesn't matter. So you could pipe it either way.
Okay. Do you know when three-way mixing valves may be available?
Well, I can say that there's very limited demand at this point for three-way mixing potable water valve. As product manager, it's really not on my my pipeline, let's say right now, or my plan within the next, let's say, couple of years. But then again, if demand increases substantially, you never know.
Okay. What is the operating time of the actuator?
It all depends on what type of actuator you're using. There are several options. So it all depends on the actuator. If there was a specific actuator, I could tell you.
Okay. Is there a specific reason why these don't include Belimo's typical 5-year warranty?
Yes. In fact, it's not a Belimo designed product, so we are contract manufacturing this out. So the testing that we normally do with Belimo product that constitutes a 5-year warranty. This product, we have not been able to test it for let's say an extended period of time to feel comfortable in extending the warranty to 5 years.
Thank you, Russ. Can literature for these valves be ordered now?
Yes, I think they can.
Okay. What is the advantage of the ICC code?
Well, the advantage of the ICC code, I don't know if there's an advantage other than being able to have a shutoff valve for every main going into every living space. I mean, it is an advantage. However, it's very costly advantage. If you have a one-story building, it's fantastic. But again, in high-rise applications, it won't be good.
Okay. Are shutoff valves required on both hot water and cold water supply?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So you would have to have two individual shutoffs.
Okay. In the new 2021 code for potable valves, who provides the wiring and controls off and on for the valve, or what switch input interlock is typically specified?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. In the new 2021 code for potable valves, who provides the wiring and controls off and on for the valve, or what switch input interlock is typically specified?
That doesn't seem like a, let's say, a very clear question.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very confusing to me. My
Okay,
apologies.
that's okay. We can get back to them later on.
Yeah.
Are potable water valves models different from the valves used for HVAC application provided by Belimo?
Are the valves different from HVAC valves in application? From a material perspective, yes. And I mean, we offer a lot of different valves. This is a full port ball valve that's bidirectional. The closest, let's say, comparative valve that you could use for potable water would be our VSS valve, which is an all stainless steel valve. That too is a full ported valve. It's much more expensive than, let's say, the standard potable water valve because it's engineered to a higher specification for heat and pressure.
Okay. Where are the valves manufactured?
These valves are manufactured in Italy.
Going back to ordering for the literature, where can anyone go to order the literature for these valves?
You can go right online and order. You can call the customer service or 1-800 number that is in the PGPL as well.
Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Who wires the valve actuator and with what?
Who wires the valve actuator? I'm thinking the installer will wire the valve actuator.
Are we currently shipping these now?
If you ordered, yes, they're available.
Okay, let's see if we have one more question here. Will these be built to order, or do you plan on keeping them on your on shelf?
These are stock product.
Okay. And that's really all the questions we have that have come in so far. Again, if you think of additional questions, please email Russ directly or myself at us.training at, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 minute, bear with me. Another question was coming in, but they're taking their time to type it. Okay, I'm sorry. You can email Russ directly or myself at training@us.belimo.com, and I will make sure I get Russ the questions. I want to thank Russ for presenting again today, and thank you everyone for joining the call. And I ask you to have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much, Russ.
Thanks.